Hi, Rhonda. My name is Claudine Jamba, and I teach across the hall from your sister Lori. I am using Google Classroom in my classroom for various things, and our department has been fairly successful with it. So it's a great tool to sort of move from a more paper-oriented classroom to paperless. I am not completely paperless. I still have some things that I prefer to use on paper, but with our digital textbooks and our Google Classroom, we have almost eliminated papers. So with that said, if you like the method that I'm using here, I'm using the website called screencast-o-matic.com. You can get a free membership, which allows you to post different or record different little settings or movies or whatever videos for, I think it's under 15 minutes. If you get the pro version like I have, it does allow you to save it to your drive, and it does allow you to, I think the free option allows you to post to YouTube as well. So if you create your own YouTube channel, you can do that as well. So what we're doing today is we are going to be looking at and setting up our Google Classroom. So if I were to go to Chrome and launch my Chrome browser, my computer is running a little slowly today, so see how that goes. A lot of times you will find the different apps that you use frequently under the waffle. That's what I've heard this referred to. So under the waffle, you should see some of the different apps that you use regularly. If you hit more, Google Classroom could be under that. Sometimes even more pops up down here, and you might find it under that. I'm going to make myself disappear here, not necessary for you to see me while I'm doing this. And then what I'm going to do is I don't see it under that, so I'm going to go on the left-hand side here, and it does happen to be here because I use it fairly frequently. The other thing that you could do to find Google Classroom is Google is pretty oriented under whatever app.google.com that you need. So in this case, it's classroom.google.com. Same thing with drive.google.com and docs.google.com, and that's how we kind of get to all of those things. So my screen is fairly busy because I am either the teacher in my personal classroom here with the kids that I teach, or I am a student in several. So I have several. We have teaming meetings that happen once a week. So I'm a member of a 6th grade team because I teach 6th grade, and I have a 6th grade home base, and I'm a member of an 8th grade team because I teach 8th grade English. We also have our SPED department that is currently looking at all of the accommodations for students, or any announcements that she needs to make to communicate to the building are posted in her Google Classroom. Our principal also posts all of the things that building-wide, faculty-wide we need, like anything that our staff handbooks or anything like that. Any announcements that he makes are all digital now. Nothing comes really to us by paper any longer. So we just receive an email that that's been posted in a classroom setting. So I've done some mentoring of Google Classroom with other teachers, and so I might have some test ones up and that kind of thing too, but my screen is fairly full of things that I've had here. So one of the things that I'd like to point out to you in starting this is the plus sign, which is pretty important. And we'll go through these here in just a little bit. So what I'd like to do in this first video is to have you and anyone else that is going to be viewing this to go to the upper right hand side to the plus sign, which is where you would go ahead and create a class. So you're going to do this for each class that you have. I don't recommend, if you teach all of one grade, and I don't know how you have things set up, but I know that one of the teachers that I was helping do this has every 8th grader, but they're all in different classes, and his desire was to do just one classroom for all of those students. To me, it becomes harder to see with 60-something kids that we have, although they're in different classes, kind of hunting them down to get things or to make them aware of things. Logistically, for me, it's easier to see if I have them in the separated into the classes that I would have them in throughout the day. So if you hit create class, it's going to have a window that pops up. It's going to ask you to name the class. You can number the section or delineate the section individually with some type of an individual marker that for your purpose, and then the subject that you teach. Once you hit create, it will ask you to personalize your class. So it'll look something similar to this, where it'll pop up and you'll have the ability to select a theme. If I go back and I look at all of my classes here, you can see that I always have my 8th grade classes purple, and I always have my this is a last year's class. I might have changed that actually. Nope, this is a last year's class. And then I have 6th grade classes that are teal. So yeah, this is a last year's class. I must have changed as I was explaining to someone how to do, and I pulled some things out of having them be archived, and I've confused myself multiple times. So full disclosure on that. These are teal for this year's. I usually have my 6th graders as teal, so this technically should be purple, but it's from last year, and I wanted to use that as a template for some of the different assignments that I had last year that I would like to reuse, so I have this as a live setting. So hopefully I didn't confuse you. So the first thing that you need to do is create a class for each of the classes that you have, and if you choose to separate by color or whatever, I think they have different patterns and things like that too. There's even an option here that if you wanted to upload a photo. I once saw a teacher who took a picture of themselves looking down as if they were looking, if they were high up on a podium and they were looking down and they had kind of a silly look on their face. And then they posted that picture in this banner here, and so their face was here. I'm not willing to do that, but those are options too, or different things that you want to upload. You could do that as well. So that's the first thing. And then when you have all of your classes set up, be aware that you can move them around according to how you have them in your day. That's a fairly new feature. The teachers in previous years, we've had to just kind of create the classes according to how we had them in the day. And the kids were not allowed to move their tiles around either. So that's the first thing is create your classes and then move them around according to how you would like to